Well, I think one of the things for sure that's really fun is just, I mean, when coming up with the ideas of troublemakers, I know when with the team, like it's seriously like a fucking, it's like a, what's the right word? It's like a, what's the word? Like a, when you get together with a bunch of creative people and then you just like dump a bunch of information, like it's just like a, I can't think of the right word, but it doesn't matter. Basically, whenever we get together and we just start talking, we can just riff
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
forever about so many ideas that we want to put into the game and things and characters, troublemakers and troubles and
Yeah,
levels
yeah,
and
yeah.
all of these different things. And I think that's one of the cool things about working on this team is that creativity and that type of collaboration. And it goes back to what you were just saying as far as we're not looking to get rich while making this game. At the end of the day, this is one of the a massive creative outlet for a very creative team. Like concur?
Yeah, you just love the sound of your own voice, don't you?
Are you sure? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would agree. Yes, we all come together. We have great ideas, and yeah, one thing for me is I'm sick of getting stuck. I'll buy one of these new games and then immediately have like buyer's remorse. You know, and like yeah, I don't want that. I want people when people play troublemakers or decide to make a purchase in troublemakers. By the way, troublemakers are completely free. Purchases are optional. But yeah, like when people decide to make a purchase in troublemakers, I want them to feel proud of their purchase, happy about it. They don't feel like they could just gotta like stuck it, like they're taken advantage of.
No, it's a great point. I know, and I know, obviously, I don't want to give away, our hand too much, but I definitely like our philosophy when it comes to pricing certain things with the game. It's that's kind of the thought. That's the thought we think of when we're doing that. Is
Yeah,
trying to give maximum value with a reasonable price tag.
yeah. Treat your community well, and they'll do so in return.
Yeah, which is just something that's just not seen. Like I know for me, I have not bought a $70 game. Like, any of the games that have come out that have been the $70 price tag, for some reason, it just doesn't feel right, and I don't know when they started doing that, but it's also why I've just leaned more personally towards indies because they have first of all, the games are, more reasonably priced, but there's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
also
Let me take it from here. Let me
go
take it
ahead,
from
go
here.
ahead.
Okay, so yeah, when you buy an indie game, the nice thing about them is even if it's not for you or it just may not resonate with you, I still don't feel that bad about I don't mind spending the money. I don't feel bad about the buying the game. I don't feel like a rube. And then I'll buy like one of these new games that are like $70, and then I'll play it and I'll be like, they got me.
Yeah, you feel
You
gypped, you
know?
feel juked,
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
baited you, yeah,
Feel like a dummy.
mhm.
Then I got people asking me, "What are you, a dummy?" And then, like, I have to say yes, and that sucks.
No, but I like this topic, and then one of the things too is, like, when you buy a game from an indie, you know that that money is going direct to developer. You know what I mean? You know that when you spend that money, you're going straight to the people that made the game compared to compared to buying money, I'm sorry, but compared to buying a game from, like, a triple A, it's like,
Yeah, oh,
it's going to the publisher, it's going to the marketing agency, it's going through so many different hands before it finally gets to the people that physically worked on the game. And
yeah, yeah.
it just
Well, I mean
seems like the whole system when it comes to game development has been completely over monetized. You know what I mean? And it's just triple A's, in my opinion, I just feel like are very much on the downward trend and dying out. And indies are on this big upswing. And it just feels like people that want to spend their money on indies are actually having more of an impact. You just feel like you're better. I mean,
yeah,
it
yeah.
just feels better to spend that money on an indie than it does now with a triple A.
Yeah, yeah, so you gotta go way back in our time machine to, like, the 1980s, 1990s. I feel like, they used to make games, and they said that they would take a chance. Like, this is what you even if it was a bigger studio, you would still see, like, they'd make a game and you'd be like, "This is what they wanted to make." It wasn't like they were
That's a
trying
great
to
point.
check off boxes or do anything like that. They're like, "This is the game that developers want to make." And I would like to bring that back, and I feel like indie's doing that, and I enjoy that, you know?
Yeah. No, I
I
100
feel
I 100% agree. Like that's how it definitely feels like. And it's interesting you brought up the 80s because I think people don't also realize with troublemakers is that we have a very strong 80s vibe going on with the kind of style of the game or visual fidelity, if you will. of the game is this
Yeah, yeah.
very 80s-esque neon-y 80s style. Um,
Well, like 80, don't forget we're a mixture of 80s and the 90s.
mhm,
You know, that's what I grew up.
yeah. It's
You
like
know,
it was the golden era.
people look at me all the yeah, people look at me all the time and they say, "What are you like? You one of them 2000 kids?" I'm like, "No, they just think I'm that young looking." No,
People
no,
actually say that?
oh, all the time. They're like, "You're so young looking." And I tell them, I'm like, "Believe what you wanna believe, but, I'm experienced. Got a lot of notches on my belt."
People need to know.
Oh, people need to know it.
Well, they know now.
Yeah, 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 that's important. But, yeah, so, just, to summarize, what I think you've been trying to say, and a lot, you never stop talking, is, yeah, indie's king. Support indie developers.
It's important. I mean, the
Yeah,
reason
yeah,
why I wanted to dig into this topic too, because I know a little bit can be controversial as far as this battle between indie and AAA. And you see that's like what was that? There was some right before Baldur's Gate 3 came out. There was somebody that posted something, some other developer, basically not like talking crap about Baldur's Gate because they're like, don't ever expect games like this. This isn't a development. And it was such like a what do you mean? This is what we should be expecting from developers. We should be expecting a lot more work and time and energy, especially from a AAA. Indies, and this isn't necessarily an indies versus AAA type of thing, but just the mentality between people that work for AAAs, and then they have this type of thought where they're like, no, you deserve a subpar product. Just expect more subpar products. That's what you should be getting as a consumer. And you're like, no. And I feel like the community is doing a decent job at starting to push back on that and not just swallow every piece of garbage that they send down our throat.